I was a rover.
Okay. So, the woodworking project that fell through. Yeah, so... What was the deal? What was the deal? What was the deal? The deal is that I... did not account for the fact that my tools suck. I need to sharpen my saws. I think that's one big thing. Was there life on this planet? Good lord. I need to sharpen my saws, and I need a better table. Like, I need a better setup for my bench saw. My bench saw is the GOAT, and it is a whole thing, but again, the saw is dull. I'm pretty sure it's dull because at this point it's just burning its way through wood instead of cutting. So, you know, that's a thing. So I gotta do that, and also like, I don't know, it's 24 inches wide with the saw in the middle, so, you know, and obviously I, am not always cutting something in the straight middle of the board. So what happens is... Oh, hey. Kinda cute. Kinda reminds me of that one episode of the Star Trek Voyager with where they go Mach 10 or Mach 11 or whatever, or maximum warp or beyond maximum warp, and they like evolve. And is that, I can't remember what episode that was, but that's like a whole thing. But I digress. Yeah, so the other thing is that the wood that I was using, or the pieces I was using, trying to get the cuts in, they were just too huge. I need to try using a router, because I think that would also probably help. I also need... my fucking workbench is just completely cluttered and not finished. And also my mom, like, has a bunch of pottery stuff on that workbench, and I need to just be like, no, please do not put your stuff on my stuff. This is not helping. So I also need to actually clean up my whole work area out there, so that's another thing. What was I going to say? Damn. Really close there. More to be said. That's the main thing though. Like, I manage, so the way that I'm going to do it, is that it's basically a box, with a bunch of rabbits, rabbit joints. But all of the joints are on the sides because trying to line things up with 3 things is a whole deal. Am I? But yeah. So somehow when I was making the cuts, though, I did manage to... the side panels... So the side panels need to just be a mirror image of each other, right? And I'm cutting the channel in for a shelf, and somehow it turns out that, like, I've just... like, one board is actually somehow, like half an inch longer than I thought it was. And so it was a whole mess, and I was like, that really fucked me up. And so, like, the joint I was going to do that I was like, oh, this needs to be super tight, it needs to be super clean, it could not have possibly been clean at that point. There was no hope for it. So, then I went to using screws. But the thing is that the shelves, and this was a stupid thing that I glued, because I had to glue the things end to end, because you know, like, there's just, this stuff was too wide, and you can't get boards that are like, you know, 20 inches wide, 20-inch boards, like a 1x20 or whatever. You just can't get that. So you gotta glue them to side by side, but wherever you can, you want the long side to be parallel with the grain. And I did not do that, which isn't really a huge problem, but it's just not the way to do it. And so, I am gonna have to get more wood. It's kind of annoying, though, because honestly, I was like, my sister sent this to me, and it's like $1,000 bar cabinet thing, and I'm like, okay, I can do that for way cheaper. And then, like, I think the thing's gonna probably only be, like, I mean, just counting the materials, not charging for labor at all, it's gonna be like $800 or something like that. You didn't really save money, and you could have just saved a lot of... I mean, like, I got the experience of it, so that's something, I guess, but... yeah. I'm gonna probably just make some boxes with the spare wood that I have. So that's also gonna be something. I also wonder, actually, I've heard that the glue... I've heard that the, like, glue... So wood is basically a bunch of straws, a bunch of strands held together with a natural sort of glue, and that synthetic glues are, you know, like, synthetic glues are, you know, more, are stronger than the lignin, which is the natural glue. But, you know, So that would imply that, like, the thing that I've set up here, if I were to just smash the fucking thing with all the force I can, it should break apart on the boards, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the glue that gives out first. Now, I don't know if that's just... if it's a lie, or if I just didn't glue it up correctly. So, but, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it is a lesson in... is a little bit of a lesson in humility. I mean, like, again, it's just a thing of, like... well, okay, for one thing, also, like... okay, terrible communication. Me and my sister did not really talk a lot at all, and frankly, when she, like... we sent a picture of, like, hey, I got the wood, and she's like, okay, so we're gonna sort out the plans, and I'm like, what? Because my understanding, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure she said just like, hey, make this thing, the bar cabinet she wanted, just make this thing as close as you can, and that's what I was planning on doing. And then she was like, okay, so we'll sort the plans out, and it's like, okay. But yeah. Did I say I'm gonna make some boxes out of the wood, spare wood? Because, yeah. That's the plan. I also, the shelves, oh my god. I'm a dumbass. The thing's like 20 inches, it's actually 18 because I shortened it. But it was supposed to be like 20 inches deep. And the shelves, I had only ended up with like 16 inch, and I was like, I don't know. Could I just make it a 16 inch thing? Sure, but I think if I do that, then it's gonna be too narrow, and it's gonna tip over very easily. That's a thing. And yeah, what else? There are the legs, which I'm still not 100% sure what I'm gonna end up doing. Because it's like this mid-century modern thing, which has like these legs, these small little legs. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Why is this planet taking me so goddamn long to try and find these squirmy little bastards? What the fuck is happening? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know though. I will say that, from this experience, okay, so also one thing is that I was like, okay, hardwood. I'm gonna be working with hardwood. It's not going to be as warped and stuff. It was still warped. Like, I mean, it was mainly like bowing, which is just, really is just from it being like 10-foot boards that were not stored properly. Stored in a very unfortunate way. They were stood up on one end where I I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they should be stored, like, flat. Because, like, you know, not... If they were perfectly straight at an, you know, sort of perfect 90-degree angle, I think that would be fine. I want to say it should be. But... what do we got here? Adhesive. Speak of the devil. Yeah, so I would just say, fuck it, just use construction wood, softwoods, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, whatever's available to you. It's not like a huge difference, but just don't, like, I don't know. I don't have a planer. I do have, like, a hand planer and an electric planer, but not a bench planer. And from my experience, like, fuck those. I want a bench planer. Jesus Christ. Again, it kind of comes down to, I just don't have, like, the best equipment. And a bench planer? Holy fuck! that would change everything. To a, like, no, genuinely would change everything sort of deal, so... I guess I could get a bunch of, like, 1x4s or something and glue them up. Make 2x4s. That wouldn't be terrible, but also wouldn't be the best thing. And yeah, I mean, like, I will say, like, I think I said, oh, it's a lesson in humility. And I mean, yes, but also, part of the deal is... Sorry. I mean, part of the deal is I had a strategy, and it fell through for a few reasons. Now I know. And I'm also... I don't know. Probably end up... Yeah, I don't know. The boxes is the thing I'll definitely do. I'm just trying to think. I mean, I guess there's some other things, but, like... yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. I also think that just the way that the construction went, like, the methodology is just not a thing I'm interested in. So, that's also a thing that just, like... I mean, for one, there is a problem I have that is somewhat classic problem of, I just don't know when to say no sometimes, and, like, that's a really... like... it's really fucking important. And, I don't know. It's also probably a skill that people should also have of, being okay with a no. And just, like, you know, like, yeah. And am I really gonna have to, like, spend a fucking hour here searching for fucking crickets? It might just be faster to try and find a research tower, honestly. Oh, I do also have a, what is it, a scroll saw? Bench saw? I don't know, what's a... bandsaw, there we go. And I really want to use that to make little figurines. And... I don't know what to say besides that. I'm just real excited for that. But I also, that's like one of the things, I just really need to get my goddamn workbench done. The thing that I currently need to do is just get... I need to take... I need to take boards off of pallets and affix them to my, and affix them to my bench. So, that needs to happen. Plain and simple. You know, I'm fine with the planet not having a lot of life. Just, again, it's one of those things where, like... This is a fucking stupid use of my time. Like... I don't think there's a nice way to put it. I could be wrong, but... I know, dude. Oh. Oh, that's another thing. I can talk about for another episode, but, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, there was, yeah, I don't know, I think I mentioned in last session that I was like, you know, I don't know how I feel about or how I feel about Bethesda mods. I'm like, I don't know if I said specifically. For one thing, I don't hate the fact that it exists. And I don't think... Well, I'm sorry, okay, I guess what I meant to say was, I don't think that any theoretical problems are not actually happening. Like a theoretical problem of just like, oh, they decided to just, you know, outsource all of their game development to freelancers instead of actually, you know, having employees do it. which, you know, I don't believe that's happening. Hang on. Okay, I do have the meds. I was hitting the button and it didn't do anything, and I was like, what the fuck? I do genuinely think that trying to locate a research tower would be better. I don't know, I did see some numbers on, like, there's not a lot of paid mods. There's like 10% or less than 10% or something. And I couldn't tell you how accurate or inaccurate those numbers are. I'd be willing to believe that. I don't really have any reason not to believe it. Come on. I don't really have any reason not to believe it. But, yeah, it's a thing. I am curious about Oblivion. Also, God, I keep mentioning that I need to work on my own game. And I do, I really do. I need playtesters. I'm not at the stage where I need playtesters, but like, it ain't going anywhere if I don't have people to test it, so. Oh god. Well, I guess one strategy I could do is go to a convention and just set up a panel and be like, hey, I have a game that I'm making, and if you want to playtest it, I have a tabletop RPG. If you want to, if we want to do like a little playtest, we could do that. Be good. Could be fun. So, god damn. Okay, it was not faster to find. If I had the thought earlier, it might have been better. But yeah, yeah, it's definitely one thing I could do. Just thinking about mods, and I'm like, oh my god, I would love. You know what? I would love to play the Oblivion remastered, especially because it's not actually made by Bethesda, it's somebody else. If it has the mod support that modern Bethesda games have, then I'm all for it. So yeah. Until next time, have a good day, great day even. Chowskis.